So in the previous exercise, we learned about uh, two different ways to make a new string. One of them was \n, while the other one was the triple quote trick. And in this exercise, you'll be learning quite a few escape sequences and what these escape sequences exactly are for. And this is a fair warning. This exercise might seem very confusing. It was, in fact, extremely confusing for me at first. But I promise you, keep going, and once you get the hang of it, you will definitely understand things pretty clearly. So, without any further ado, what I want you to do is type in this file exactly the way I have typed it in. And once you're done doing that, I'll start explaining it. You need to run this file in terminal. So type in Python 3. Let me just zoom this for you. Type in Python 3, drag and drop this ex10.py and hit enter, and you should get an output something like this. So this should be your output. Copy this file, pause the video, and after that, once you're done copying this file, once you run this file, after that I will break down what this cryptic output really means. Alright, so this might seem a little confusing, or in fact very confusing, but I'll explain it one by one, step by step. So in the line 1, first line, all we did was just define a new variable. In this case, I named it as tab_string. You can name it anything you want, but I named it tab string since this string makes use of \t, which is the escape sequence for tab. So you see here, tab is basically what is tab? So tab is basically a humongous spacebar hit. Like in your text editor, just hit tab, and you'll get like 2, 3, 4 space entries. Just keep hitting tab, and it's like a huge spacebar hit. Okay, so that is tab. \t is helpful for putting spaces, these big spaces, after your words or letters or whatever inside of your string. So you see here, technically there are no spaces between all these characters. Put a tab using \+t. There are no spaces essentially in this string, but with the help of tab character, tab escape sequence \t, I was able to get these huge spaces like you see in this first line, this first print statement. Since my first print statement is print tab string, I was able to get huge spaces. The third line is another variable which I defined as new line string. You can name it anything you want, but I named it as new line string since I use this very familiar escape sequence \n for new line in my program. So you see, I've used \n in each and every string that I have defined in a variable for this program. So that just made things a little neater for me. Like you see, all of these things aren't really bunched up together. All of these things are spaced by an extra line, an empty line. So this is line 1, this is line 2. You see that both of these lines are on the same line on this particular string in this particular variable. But once I print it out, this \n, the escape sequence for a new line, will be functional, and I will be getting new lines for both of these lines. If I were to put in another \n, then I would get another line, and there would be a space between this is line 1 and this is line 2, just the way that there are spaces between these two lines, or these two lines, or these two lines, or these two. You get the idea. The next variable on the line 5 is escape double quote. Now this is very essential. In fact, this one is even more so essential. But what this basically does is this helps us escape double quote. So if you see, if I remove this backslash from here right now, then Python will get confused. All of this is not in the green. This is in the gray area. So Python might think that you're trying to define another variable, and Python will end your string right at this double quote. You don't want that. You want your double quote to signify as a double quote and not the end of your string, not the end of your this string, since your string is stretching all the way till here and not just till here. So you make use of backslash, which tells Python that, dude, chill out. This is not the end of the string. This is just a double quote which I want to be printed inside of my string. Now I had to use this escape sequence of skipping a double quote for this fifth line, since my string was enclosed within double quotes. If my string were to be enclosed within a single quote, both of these are more or less the same things. If my string was to be enclosed within a single quote, then I would have to escape a single quote, and I wouldn't need to escape a double quote, since that is considered by Python to be a double quote itself. Now I'll show you. If I remove this single quote after I backslash n m, if I were to remove this backslash, then again Python will get confused. Python will imagine or even think that this I is all the string that you want to print, and all of this would be just some random stuff which wouldn't make any sense to Python. So you need to use backslash to tell Python that, bro, chill out. Okay. This line 9 has another escape sequence which is helpful for escaping a backslash. So if you see here, there is only one backslash being printed when you print this out. Now the 11th line has yet another variable which I named as lazy way out, which is the use of triple quotes. We saw in the previous exercise that using triple quotes is very beneficial if you don't want to keep typing in backslash n's or using this escape sequence for a single or double quote. If you don't want to keep doing that inside of your code, then a triple quote is a great alternative if your code string has a lot of lines. So this is just a lazy way out. I guess after explaining all of these variables, you should understand this particular variable. But anyway, I'll just explain it line by line. So I have a space after these triple quotes, and I didn't have to use backslash n before this. So if you see here, there are two spaces and not one like this one. There are two line spaces here, since I used backslash n after this, and I also have this line who's to stop you. I also have this on the next line and not on the same line. If I wanted just a single space between these two strings, then I would have to remove this backslash n at the end. So that's for the 11th line. Now the 12th line. Now I have a single quote and I also have a double quote, but Python is not getting confused here since I'm not using three quotes. So as long as I'm not using three quotes, it's good to go. So let me give you an example. If I were to end this string right here, then I would give it three triple quotes. But I didn't do that since I want my string to extend till here, and that is why I made use of double quotes, and that is why this thing is helpful. Now I use this tab thingy which I defined on the first line. I also use this backslash n. You're already familiar with this at this point, and this is just a very simple string line. And from the line 16 to line 21, all we have is just print statements. So the 16th line is printing this string, 17 this one, and so on and so forth. So whatever variables are inside of this parenthesis of the print statement, whatever variable is inside of this, the print statement will print the string inside of that particular variable. So that's about it. Now what I wanted to do is try using single quotes instead of double quotes and see if that's any different, and imagine a scenario in which this could be helpful. But this is not all. These aren't all the backslash, aren't all the escape sequences. There are way more sequences actually. So let me go and show you a few escape sequences that Python recognizes. So you might not use a lot of these actually in your lifetime, but it's still a pretty good idea to memorize all of these. So what I want you to do is write all of these escape sequences down in a table, and once you're done doing that, try to memorize them. Make cards and do whatever you like to memorize these sequences. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.